So check this out. What happened right now is a perfect example of something that I've been wanting to talk about. So I've been reading about love a lot, right? What did Jesus say was the first commandment? Love God above anything and everything. Put God first, right? Love God above anything and everything. The second commandment, love your neighbor. Everywhere you read through all the Bible, man, it's all about love. It's all about love. It's all about love. One of the things that I was reading about, it talks about love and love and love. Like everywhere, it's love, man. One of the things that I talked about a few months ago was how the church is divided, right? And by the church, I mean the people, right? This is what a lot of people get confused. People think that this building is the church. That's just a building. That's where we go to congregate. That building is pretty much useless without the people. It's the people that make it the church. So when I say the church, I mean the people. That's the way it was intended. That's why when the New Testament talks about the church, it doesn't talk about it. It doesn't mean the building, the church. It means the people. That's what church was always intended to mean. The people, right? So, talked about church, right? The church. How did I say it the last time that I talked about it? That there was an author who talked about how the devil likes the way we're so divided, because if we were to stop being such idiots, right? Such hateful idiots, that we would be such a strong force. Just like this country is so divided that we're not strong. We really aren't. People keep saying, oh, but if we got attacked, we would, unite together. I'd honestly doubt that. There's so much hate in this world that I don't think that would happen. I think that there would still be those people that would say, I'll fight, but not with that guy. They should not be allowed to fight. That's just my opinion. And since we're on the subject of hate in this country, I was reading a lot of stuff. A lot of the stuff that's even in the Bible that talks about how the hate is what's going to divide us, right? The lack of love for your neighbor, the hate, because that's the way the evil one wants to divide us, right? He puts so much hate into our hearts that it divides us, right? Because we're not willing to love each other. And this is the thing that a lot of you do not understand. These people that call themselves Christians, right? If you call yourself a Christian, then you're supposed to do what Jesus said. Jesus said, love your neighbor. Are you really loving your neighbor by treating people the way you treat them? Racism isn't love. Racism has nothing to do with love. And the Catholics even talk about that. And this is one of the reasons people hate Catholics so much. We're against racism. We're all about equality. I was reading yesterday how it even talks about fair wages. Ooh. Did you know that? Catholics are for fair wages and a living wage. What? Are you kidding me? Right? And it talks about how it could be considered a sin if you don't pay your workers well, if you cheat people, if you mislead people. Yeah, we're talking about that. It talks about that. That's why a lot of people don't like Catholics, because we straight out call you out for not paying your workers well, for not letting them unionize, for cheating people out of their money, for misleading people to buy your products. Like a lot of these rich Republicans do, right? That's why they're so against Catholicism, because There should be a distribution of wealth. There should be fair wages for people. They don't like that. So anyway, there's that. And there's the fact that there's people that are trying to divide the people, right? Instead of trying to unite the people, they're trying so hard to divide us. You see these politicians nowadays that everybody has to wear the label conservative, right? This conservative Republican, when they didn't used to talk like that. They didn't used to talk like that. They used to just say, hey, I'm the better man for the job, right? Now you have all these people that, oh, look at me. I'm not just going to divide us. I'm going to divide us even further and further and further. And they're trying to plant so much hate into the people's hearts. I was trying to remember exactly how I read it, that it talks about how those are the people that you're really supposed to be careful with, because they're, how do I say it without saying it wrong? So it's one thing to do things that are considered a sin, but you do it not deliberate, right? So you inadvertently do something, okay, and then you realize that you did it and it's wrong, so you stop, right? But these people are deliberately trying to divide us, trying to instill hate, trying to divide the people, right? And you guys don't realize that it's one thing to go against God, but it's another thing to deliberately turn your back on him, right? Those are the people that you really have to be careful with. These people are deliberately turning their backs on God by being against love, by being pro-hate. And it's beautiful to see people quotes, this quote and that quote, that you can't extinguish love with hate, you can't extinguish hate with hate, only with love. But then, you guys are still spreading divisive propaganda. And I went to this lecture today that it talked about being inclusive, and it talked about bringing the people together. And I thought that was such an awesome thing to think about. Could you imagine? And it wasn't talking about bringing the different faiths together, but I was thinking that to myself today, and I was like, could you imagine that if all these people that call themselves Christians, right, and they go by different religions, a Pentecostal and Baptist and Southern Baptist and evangelicals and Seventh-day Baptists and Seventh-day Advents and all this stuff and everything, could you imagine if all those people could set aside their egos, and it's all ego-based. If all these people could set aside their egos, sit down at a table together with all these different religions and just say, how do we bring people to God together? Let's bring people to God. Let's put our egos aside and bring people to God. Could you imagine?